Hey guys, what's going on? This is Andrew here today, and we are back with another pickups video that honestly I wasn't anticipating on doing until GameStop decided to just go full-blown deal mode and completely suck me in. So, what happened exactly? Well, I was doing, it was like 8 o'clock at night, and we closed at 9 o'clock at my store, and I was taking down all the old signage from the last week since there were a lot of deals that were going on, and GameStop gets like really pissy if you forget to take down the signage because then a customer sees it and then you have to honor the deal because that's just the right thing to do in retail. Well, I was taking down the signage, and as I was putting up the signage, I see a deal that says 25% off all pre-owned Series X games, and I shit a brick just looking at that. Like, I saw that and was like, there's no way. Like, there's absolutely no way that they're taking 25% off of every single one of these things. And then I thought to myself, I'm like, okay, so it's probably, like, that's really cool, but my discount's probably not going to stack on top of that. What do you know? My discount stacks on top of that. So I went completely ballistic, berserk. And since I just got a new Series X, the Halo one, this is actually, like, the perfect time for me to have gotten all this stuff, because now I have a ton of games to play on it. A lot of these games are kind of just filler, just to kind of add to the collection because they were so damn cheap with being 25% off. Plus them all being pre-owned makes them cheap enough. So, and then my discount, like, guys, it literally, this whole haul, there's about 13 games in here, and I spent less than $100, like, getting these games. It's actually insane what I was able to pick up in terms of value. So, let's take a look at what I got. I'm excited. What's crazy too is there was a point in time with my Series X collection where I made a video when I hit 10 games. This haul right here is bigger than what my collection was at some point when that was like the main console I was collecting for next gen. So actually insane. I mean, a lot of it's filler games and cheap like sports games, but for the most part, there are some pretty solid titles in here that I didn't own before, so let's get right into it. Alright, so I'm essentially using a different app to record because for some reason OBS is being weird with my mic, so not sure if this is going to make a major difference, but it's definitely worth a shot since my last few videos have been sounding like absolute garbage for some reason with my Yeti just acting up. But first game on the list was one that I actually already owned, essentially. I wouldn't say owned, but played a decent amount of on the Series X because it's on Game Pass. Cheap enough to where I picked it up today, and it was like really like dirt cheap. Like, I'm talking like maybe $5, $6. That was Back for Blood for the console. So I initially, like, my plan was every time that I got a game on Series X and it was on Game Pass, I would try to get the game sealed. But honestly, I might just start abandoning that because I'm not really sure how many games I want to add to my sealed collection, considering that not every game is going to be on Game Pass forever. And there are certain games I'm definitely going to want to play in the future. So I think I'm going to start adding like certain used games there just to kind of have games so I can play later down the line. Because one day Game Pass is going to go down, at least for the Series X, because they've already taken down, what am I saying? I don't know. There's a lot of things like that might go down in terms of servers. You never know if Back 4 Blood's going to be supported. So I want to have a physical copy of that just to ensure that. Same kind of situation with the game I'm showing right here. Although I didn't technically get the original cover art for this, it's the GameStop pre-owned cover art. It's still something I wanted to have physically, and to this day I regret getting it digitally. Like, I've been regretting this digital purchase ever since the day I did it, and I still to this day don't know why I didn't just wait an extra day to do it. That was Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. So I actually got this on day one on the Series X, and the reason that I ended up getting it digitally instead of physically was because I had a thing back then where I would always get the COD games on their launch day and play the campaign, like, starting at, like, whenever the game came out and then just finish it in one sitting. Since COVID was going on when this game was around, or at least COVID was a lot bigger of a thing, essentially, there was no midnight release or something like this, so I couldn't just go to a GameStop, pick the game up, and then go home and play it. So I did the thing where I ended up buying it digitally, and I still regretted it. Like, I'm still regretting it to this day. And honestly, I really wish I bought it on the PS5 instead, but I didn't have the PS5 at the time because it launched on November 12th, which is the launch date of the PS5. But I had the Series X from November 10th when that launched, and I didn't get my PS5 till the end of November. So I got the Series X copy because I didn't think I was getting the PS5 anytime soon at that point. And it wasn't actually until my friend just like texted me at some random point and was like, "Yo, I'm trying to get the PS5. You want one?" And I kind of just said, "Sure," and impulse bought the thing. It's a funny story behind that. I gotta tell that story eventually. I've told pretty much everyone I know. But another game I got on this list that I've heard like very mixed things about because it was made by the same developer as the Dead Space remake and all that stuff, and A lot of people said that I honestly just played Dead Space instead of this one, but since the game was cheap enough, and at some point, it was like $70, and then came all the way down to 25 before the 25%, and then even lower with my discount, that would be Callisto Protocol. So all I know is it's got the same kind of style as something like Dead Space. Heard it isn't nearly as good as something like Dead Space, but it's definitely something that piqued my interest and something that I definitely want to give a shot. Because, like I said, I've heard very mixed things about it, mainly negative, but I have heard a lot, a few people at the very least say that they did end up enjoying this game a lot. So figured I would add this one. It's another physical game to add to that Series X collection, which, by the way, is growing significantly faster than I was anticipating. Next up, just a filler game I got for like $2, Madden 22. Nothing else to say about that. Madden 21, nothing else to say about that. FIFA 21, absolutely nothing to say about that. F1 21, 2021. I've never actually owned an F1 game before, so definitely like to actually give this one a shot. But that one was just complete filler. Some other games that were complete filler, which I'll just show whatever filler games there are here, and then just show like the other stuff and talk about like what I actually wanted with them. NBA 2K22. It says $9, but this was actually $1. 2K21 was $2, but less because of the discount, and then the thing, and then MLB The Show. This was not $12. This was a lot cheaper, but it was in the Steelbook, and I wanted the Steelbook, so I got all of those filler ass games that are dog shit and get replaced every single year, but I could care less because they were cheap, and I gotta take a shot every time I say this, but I just wanted to kind of add them to the Series X collection because I'm trying to get that to grow like really, really large. So yeah, Series X's library is just growing crazy. But now for some games that aren't so filler, except maybe one of them. One of them is Resident Evil Village, which I've heard nothing but amazing things about, and I just never ended up picking up the game for some reason. I don't know why I didn't end up picking up the game. Maybe because I really never got into the Resident Evil games in the past and just ended up kind of passing over this one. I think it's on Game Pass now, if anything. But as you can see, like these price tags on here, by the way, guys, are before the discounts of both my employee discount and the 25% off. So this is before like sale, and this game was already cheap enough, so you can tell I just wanted to jump right on that. But I've heard nothing but good things about this one. I know a lot of people aren't as big of a fans of the Resident Evil games now that they've pretty much gone first person rather than the way they used to be. But personally, I loved Resident Evil 7 from when I played of it. I only played the beta, but I loved honestly just the environment, and I definitely have to go back and finish that one too. But next game that was on here is a game I actually technically already own as well, this one being digital. Funny story, first I'll just show the game, might as well. This is Saints Row, which was critically hated, but funny story, when I was working GameStop one day, GameStop heavily advertised this game. This was one of the biggest games that they were advertising last year, and they were just going overboard with it. I don't know what kind of money this company was paying GameStop to do all this advertising, but it was all over the place. We had pins that we would have to pin to our name tag, and we would have the customer scan us so that they can go on their phone and whatever and just pre-order the game or whatever. They were hyping the hell out of this game when it was first coming around, and it just completely crashed and burned. But what GameStop did was they did a raffle for the district, I guess. I don't know how many people actually won or if there was more than one winner, but they had us go on one of the websites through GameStop, through our interface or whatever, and they had us enter the raffle, write what console we wanted it for, why we wanted the game and all this stuff. And I legit because the game had already come out at this point. We didn't get it at launch. We got it maybe a week or two after launch. And so one of the things it said was why do you want this game? Or it was what platform? I wrote Series X. They're have you played a Saints Row game before? Yes. Which one was your favorite? I said Gat Out of Hell because I didn't really play the other ones besides 3, 4, and Gat Out of Hell. And then it said, why do you want this game? No joke, literally wrote, because it sucks. And all my coworkers got so pissed when I won that raffle because that was the worst answer to give, and I still somehow ended up winning the game. So yeah, I own this game digitally, and I got it for free from a raffle from my company, which is absolutely hilarious. But no, I actually ended up playing this game and enjoying it for what it was. I didn't kind of look at it as a Saints Row kind of game. I looked at it as something that was on its own, and honestly, from what I played of it so far, it's really not that bad of a game. I feel like it got a lot of unnecessary hate, in my opinion. I mean, it definitely could have been better. I think they could have just done a little bit different things with the formula, and it would have been a much better game. But honestly, I like it for what it is. Maybe if they took away the Saints Row title and called it something else, I would like it a lot more. But not really that bad of a game to me. Honestly, I'm probably going to keep playing it because I got, not far, but decent into the game when I played it on my last Xbox. Very last game on this list. Wow, I actually just went through all this in one take. Last game on the list, just another thing to add to the collection, and just another game on my pre-owned wall that was cheap enough for me to warrant doing it. This one is Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin. I remember when this game came out, actually. It was pretty, it was a big thing that a lot of people in my store were pre-ordering. I remember when this game launched, and we had like a pretty big turnout for it, but I never really got into the Final Fantasy games at all. Like, I never really got into any of them. I don't think I've played a single one other than 10-2, possibly, for the PS2, and that's because I ended up going to a retro game store where they had like a mystery game box or whatever, and I picked up the mystery game because the owner was like, you gotta do a mystery game. You always come in here looking for stuff you want, but maybe just go for the mystery and you'll get something cool. So I got Final Fantasy 10-2 for the PS2 in that. But yeah, I actually didn't see that it said Final Fantasy Origin on here. I just saw the title and thought, I kind of remember something like this coming out. Plus I saw it said Square Enix on it. So yeah, I mean, Square Enix is an amazing company. I've always been into their stuff. So that was everything, and 13 games for less than $100, let me tell you. I just basically expanded my Series X collection to a huge number at this point. At least for the time. It's going to keep growing and growing because the Series X is my main platform. While I'd say PC is like my secondary platform and PS5 is like my third in command platform, and then Switch is just at the very bottom for the Nintendo exclusives. But yeah, this is everything in this haul, at least. I've got plenty of other hauls coming. This one is the most actually recent one of all the ones you're going to be seeing, but I figured I'd post this one first while the Series X deal is still going on, because this deal is only going on till Saturday, I think the 29th. I can't exactly remember. I know, actually, let me just look at my calendar just so I don't butcher this. Oh, wow. I completely got that right. That was a complete guess. Yeah, Saturday the 29th is the last day of the deal. So definitely recommend jumping on that as soon as you see this video, because if you're a Series X player and you don't have a lot of games in your catalog and you want to add a ton of stuff, GameStop has got every single thing for Series X pre-owned right now for 25% off. So yeah, guys, that's everything here. This is just a really cool haul of stuff. I hope to see you all in the next one. There's going to be a lot of haul videos coming soon. And top of that, I'm going to be making a setup video soon, and then just a million videos down the road. Have a good one, guys.